Hi, we're back in the beautiful mother city of Cape Town for round 7. This is the Bridgestone production cars. Welcome to the Westbank Super Series.
In this show, it's round 7 of the Bridgestone Production Car Championship, and for the second time this year, we're on our way down to Cape Town, the mother city, what will prove to be spectacular racing in this series. Lots of thrills, and of course, lots of spills.
For all information on the Westbank Super Series, SMS the word motorsports to 31329 or visit our website www.westbanksuperseries.co.za and stay in the loop.
A 23-strong field of cars down in Cape Town with a couple of local heroes stepping up for the first time into Bridgestone production cars to join up with the usual contenders in a new format of racing for the first time out. An hour-and-a-half endurance race at the end of the day. We'll see all the top contenders go head-to-head and see if they can get those valuable double championship points.
The great thing about the Bridgestone Production Car Championship is the availability for the spectators to get nice and close, get autographs, see the cars, look at the engines, see the mechanics, and really take it from there.
Round 6 highlights at Swartkops. We saw some fantastic racing, especially in the sprint races. And at the Sassel race day, it looked like the Sassel Subarus might be the cars to beat. The four-wheel drive machines seemed to have what it took going into turn 1, but it was going to be a tight one between them and the Afrox BMWs. Around the outside, you can see already action into turn 1, and Johan Ferrari making an uncustomary mistake into turn 1 and put himself right at the back of the field with a huge amount of work to do to get to the front again.
On board with Richard Rutz, and one of the star drivers in this series as well. He's come on in leaps and bounds in this series, and he's hoping for a great result.
At the end of the first heat, though, it was Groenewald who took the victory away from the BMWs, and a great effort there, especially when his Sassel sponsors are in the house.
Don't you just love these highlights packages, Greg? Shows you all the nifty little bits in between what goes on.
Groenewald took the victory from Melville Priest, Anthony Taylor, Davy Olivier, and Richard Rutz made up the top 5 in Class A.
So the first race in the bag and 10 points as well. Into the second sprint race and an inverted grid, Greg.
Sees the Audi at the front end for the first time, but unfortunately the Audis have not had the pace here at Swartkops, and you can see already being eaten up by Richard Rutz. He's looking to get his first victory of the season and really pushed hard to do that. But Michael Stephen probably had the drive of his life. In the background, though, it was Groenewald. A massive move there up the inside of Melville Priest to try and outdo him.
Yeah, well, that move was the demise of Henny Groenewald, and of course, the leader and the winner for the first time around this year was Richard Rutz.
Came across nicely in the Rough Rider BMW. Right behind him was a stablemate, Anthony Taylor. Subaru of Davy Olivier in third, Melville Priest in fourth, and Johan Ferrari putting an Audi in the top 5 for the first time in the day. Celebrations for Richard Rutz as he got up onto the podium. And then in the feature race, this is where it all counts. Double points up for grabs, and all of a sudden, the retirement of Groenewald wasn't a factor anymore because they managed to get that car sorted out, and he led out going into the first couple of corners with his teammate starting to put the pressure on. Pressure was at the back there between Chop Sapuka and Johan Ferrari. Ferrari having a dismal day.
Yeah, and of course, there's an on-fire situation with the Engine Extreme Audi. Was that Chop Sapuka? Absolutely. Blowing the motor. He's had torrid luck the entire season.
Groenewald hung on till the end of the race and actually took double victories for the day. 2 out of 3 for Henny Groenewald. The man who really needed the points was right on his tail. That was Anthony Taylor in second place. He maintains his lead in the championship now. Davy Olivier in third, Priest in fourth, and Richard Rutz in the Rough Rider BMW in fifth.
There's the celebrations and, of course, big smiles all around.
Championship points going to Cape Town. Looked really good for the Afrox BMWs as they were 1 and 2 at the top. Michael Stephen, he maintained in third place with Johan Fourie dropping down, and they're now on equal points as we head to the Mother City.
Point standing for the overall manufacturers: Volkswagen 716, BMW, Ford, Audi, Nissan, Subaru, Mazda, and the Lotus is nowhere to be seen.
Into Cape Town, it looked like the Audis had definitely found some pace, and in Class A, Michael Stephen looked very good from the start. He's going to be a tough man who had to hang out to the front end of the field. Cunha also made some massive improvements in his 350Z. The Nissan looking so good.
Well, the most amazing thing about that Nissan is the fact that they've shed so much weight on the car. They've found really a lot of weight to work with, which is to their benefit. And, of course, putting down some seriously good times on the day.
Reggie Roots went fourth quickest. Melville Priest also looking pretty good, but unfortunately he was outdone by the local man who had some big crowd support behind him, and he looked to put it on the front row, and that's exactly what he did. But unfortunately it was the Afrox BMW who led out, and the championship leader was right where he needed to be, on pole.
Right, let's have a look at it. Anthony Taylor, Johan Fourie on the front row.
Second row was Melville Priest and the Rough Rider BMW of Richard Roots.
On the next row, it was Marco de Cunha in the Nissan and Michael Stephen in the Engine Extreme Audi.
Chop Sapuka was alongside Henry Grunewald in the first of the Subarus.
And then two Subarus, Davy Olivier and Richard Pinnard bringing up the rear. We're in Cape Town for this leg, and of course Anthony Taylor sticks it on pole again. Car's looking good, you're looking good, feeling confident?
Oh yeah, the car's great. I mean, I say the guys at Team Afrox ADF Motorsport have done a fantastic job, and once again it's just proven, you know, to have pole for the first race and the last race of the day is very important, especially being the long one, the endurance race. I think it's going to be a good day for us.
Excellent as well for you, because it now means you can kind of look forward to consolidating the championship lead.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's still always a lot of points up for grabs. I just have to be consistent. I need a good weekend down here now, and then pretty much for East London and Killarney, I just have to look after it and bring it home and try and wrap up the championship.
Half the battle done, you stuck it on the front row.
Yeah, no, I'm very happy about that. The car ran right, the India Audi was performing beautifully. We worked on setup the whole time, and different strategies for the endurance race, so hopefully we covered that aspect, but it's still difficult competing against the turbo cars. They're just so fast, and I mean, they outdrag us again to the line, so it's just gonna try to stick it in there and just try to keep my position and just see how well we can do.
Round 7 is absolutely crucial, Greg, because a championship in the making. Anthony Taylor, Melville Priest and the top boys need to continue their point surge, and it could be a new champion this year.
I just love the fact that it's all changed around when we got back down to Cape Town. The Audi's already finding some form, and you can see Johnny Fury in the front end there, already giving Anthony Taylor a good run for his money as we go down. But he unfortunately gets outdone by the Rough Rider BMW, and he gets forced a little bit wide. Richard Roots around the outside of West Bank corner, and already some touching there between Priest and Fourie. No love lost there, and some touching between Richard and Johan Fourie. We're on board with him now, looking across to the right-hand side. Expect to see the Rough Rider BMW coming on the inside. No, Fourie's covered the line.
Yeah, he's getting very, very excited very early on in the sprint race, and of course there's another 5 laps to go, so he's got to keep this tidy. But, you know, with the Cape Town crowd shouting out for him, well, you know what? It's the adrenaline that's rushing at the moment.
Exactly. Speaking of adrenaline, check out the Engine Extreme Audi there of Michael Stephen. Hasn't found much pace here this weekend. They really have battled, both him and Chop Sapuka, but Stephen driving the wheels off that Audi and really pushing it to its limits. At the front, though, it's Afrox BMWs 1 and 2. Johan Fourie and the Indy Oils Audi behind them, and then it's Richard Roots under massive pressure. We're back on board with Fourie. This is going to be close to 250 kilometers an hour before they climb on the brakes into Cape Town corner.
Yeah, it's amazing. They almost get past that 50-meter braking zone, and then they just still manage to carry the speed through that corner. And it is a difficult corner, but it's impressive to see them come down in that section.
Yeah, fortunately, all on the banking. That banking corner definitely helps out as they go through there. Richard Roots now starts to pull a bit of a gap and close down back onto his arch rival there, Johan Fourie. They had a little bit of touching as they went into West Bank corner the last time. Fourie goes defensive. Look at Roots all over the back of him. The Rough Rider BMW is really putting the pressure onto the local man.
Yeah, you know, maybe he started playing second fiddle and he really wants to prove himself in this team as well. He's got a lot of great support, and they're a big team.
They certainly are. As they head up there, it is BMW's 1 and 2 and down in 4th place, trying to find a way past. But also, Richard Roots has to worry about Michael Stephen. Stephen is all over the back of him, so he cannot go on the attack in full mode. He also has to watch his rearview mirrors and keep on the defensive.
On their way down to Malmesbury, which is an amazing corner. They get great drive out there, a wonderful place to watch it, and then head on down to that big back straight where they generate all that top speed. Here it comes now.
A little bit of a back straight now into Malmesbury. Here we go, on board with Johan Fourie into Malmesbury. It's a double right-hander, got to get everything right. Four-wheel drive working out. You can see the Quattro system here, working double time to try and stay with those rear-wheel drive BMWs. The 335 seem to have the pace down here. And it looks like Melville Priest is going to run shotgun for his championship leader. He's sitting there in second place, allowing Anthony Taylor to dictate the pace. But remember, the second race is coming up. There's only 6 laps here. These guys are going to do everything they can. And then in the second race, we're going to be in for a great one because they invert the grid for the second sprint race.
Yeah, and it seems to be fair as well. It gives everybody an opportunity. And, of course, the fans get to see other cars in front. And, of course, the leaders get to chase them down too.
Let's see whether or not that's going to pay off dividend for the BMWs. Right now, Johan Fourie runs a little bit wide out of West Bank corner. That's going to open up a little bit of a gap there and possibly close that gap down once again between the BMW of Richard Roots and himself. And then just behind, Michael Stephen. Chop Sapuka's got ahead of Darby Olivier. We can see that in the background. Sapuka having one of the best drives we've seen out of him. Olivier looking to go on the inside, cut the apex late. And unfortunately has the door slammed shut by Chop Sapuka. So the 2 Engine Extreme Audis running formation flying right behind the Rough Rider BMW.
Yeah, the problem also, Greg, is that a lot of these cars run at a similar speed. Now, of course, if you get clean air and you get track in front of you to go, you know, you can actually pull off a win. Sometimes they don't get the opportunity to do that and get stuck between the big guns. Right now, we're on board with Johan Fourie, and he is pushing that BMW. It's larger than life in that rearview mirror.
It certainly is, and in the background, of course, is Richard Roots. So these guys are the sandwich here, and the meat in the sandwich right now is Johan Fourie. He goes down the back straight. Melville Priest goes defensive. There he goes onto the inside line, trying to hold that inside line, not allowing Johan Fourie to get any glimpse of that second place whatsoever. It's Afrox BMWs 1 and 2 in the championship. They're 1 and 2 on the road, and that's how they want to finish up today's racing.
I've always said that when you've got a 2-car team or even a 3-car team and you've got the support, you have a tendency to be in a stronger position because you've got a rear guard action.
That's exactly what Melville Priest is doing right now, and in fact, it's also what Richard Roots is doing, because Richard Roots bugging the back end of Johan Fourie is allowing Anthony Taylor to get away. Because Fourie is unable, as I said earlier with Michael Stephen, to go on the attack fully. He has to watch out from behind and make sure that that Rough Rider BMW doesn't sneak through. Fortunately for him, though, there's another Audi coming to play, and that's Michael Stephen in the first of the Engine Extreme Audis.
All right, so into Engine and then through that and into Dam's Dip, and they'll be on their way back to Malmesbury again. And, of course, some high-speed action here. Kenny Grunewald not looking the business at the moment, Greg.
He's really battling. I tell you something, from a double victory at Swartkorps, he's now at the back of the field, and the Subarus definitely haven't found the pace here. But remember, there is still another sprint race to come where the grid will be inverted. And then, of course, at the end of today's racing, which we'll pick up in another show of West Bank Super Series, is the 1.5-hour endurance race.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that one. But right now, our attention on this sprint. They're barreling down that big straight and, of course, getting on the brakes very, very hard. Still in control, doesn't he? Anthony Taylor. No problems there.
Yeah, he's had a perfect day in the saddle so far. Remember, he put it on pole yesterday. He's now looking so good and looking to possibly take this victory in the first sprint race. We've only got a couple of corners to go, I'm sure, for these guys, if they're going to come across the line now. Look at how close these boys have got. It really is non-stop action from the word go. 6 laps, and man, these guys hold back nothing.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised, really, because you'd expect the aspirated cars to do a little bit better than the turbos at the moment, but that's not the case, so they found something.
They certainly have. The only one that hasn't found anything, of course, is the Sam Racing Tubular Tech Nissan 350Z. It's parked in pit lane. Marco Acuna having a dismal start to the day after such a great promise being shown in qualifying.
Yeah, it did as well, and also Squadscope showed a lot of promise there. In fact, we felt that he was actually going to do well. He felt confident this time around as well. But I'll tell you what, Rekhe Roots, for me, is driving a very good race, and he really has come on in leaps and bounds. We're on board right now, Johan Fourie. This is racing at its very best, and we're in Cape Town.
Yeah, check out how he goes a little bit wide coming out of Dams. That's going to lose him a little bit of ground. Has to try and catch the slide as they go through Malmesbury, but the man who's having to catch the slide even more is the rear-wheel drive BMW. That Afrox BMW is definitely working the Bridgestone tyres to their limits, and Melville Priest has gone defensive almost every time we've gone down to Cape Town corner. Will he do the same thing again? I think so.
Of course, Terry Moss is going to have to rethink what's going on because we haven't heard or seen much of the Audis at the moment. But if it stays the way it is, well, they could be looking pretty on a reverse grid.
Yeah, Johan Fourie, though, is taking about 3 points away from Michael Stephen. They were on equal points as we came into Cape Town, sitting in 3rd place, equal in the championship. Right now, it's Johan Fourie that's taken a little bit of an advantage away from Michael Stephen. So Michael Stephen and Chop Sapuka, as you said, definitely going to have to do some homework. They can't do it between the first 2 races, though, because they've got to sit on the grid at the Park for May.
That's true, and not allowed to work on those cars. And, well, I'll tell you what, it's very, very frustrating, of course. But all they want to do is get back and race the second race. Right now, back with the action into the Dam Step and through those corners. And it is still Johan Fourie. He's driving like an absolute demon.
Yeah, he's kept Richard Roots behind him and kept him very honest. And Roots has done the same thing to Michael Stephen. So the battle at the front end of this field is BMWs and Audis this time. At Swartkops, remember, it was BMWs and Subarus. The Subarus right off the pace here this weekend. Unfortunately, not getting to grips with Killarney.
Yeah, certainly the BMW has really got the grunt down that back straight. I would have expected Johan Free to be all over the BMWs, but that's not the case this time around.
Free seems to have backed off slightly. He's allowed Melville Priest to get away. That could be possibly because Record Roots is putting a little bit more pressure. He's late on the race into Cape Town. Actually nearly runs a little bit too wide for my liking, but manages to get that car back onto the race line and out of Cape Town corner. Anthony Taylor and Melville Priest are doing everything right, keeping those two cars at the front end and maintaining their lead in the championship as the flag came out.
So Anthony Taylor gets the win, and that's 10 points. That's going to do his championship cause the world of good.
Certainly is. Melville Priest, his teammate in the Afrox BMW, comes through in second place. Johan Free, the local man from Cape Town in the Indy Oils Audi, finishes up in third place. Behind him, Record Roots in the Rough Rider BMW. And then first of the Engine Extreme Audis was Michael Stephen, with lots of work to do now as they invert this grid for race number 2.
Yeah, doesn't that mean, though, that the two Engine Extreme Audis are on the front row of this grid?
We'll have a look at the confirmation of the results there. BM's 1 and 2, Audis there 3 and 5, with the Rough Rider BMW of Record Roots tucked in 4th position. A good drive from him.
Job Sapuka. So it's 1 and 2. Darga Olivier at 7, 8 Henny Grunewald, Richard Pinnard and Marco de Cunha, who parked it.
Results of race 1, you stuck it on pole, you looked in command the whole race. It must be brilliant out there for you.
Yeah, it was quite an easy race actually. You know, the short race, 6 laps, so not too much hard work, but the guys seemed to have hung in there for quite a while, and then I got a little bit of a gap, and it was nice just to maintain it. And yeah, we'll see now what happens on the reverse grid.
Did you feel comfortable with Melville behind you?
Yeah, it is. You know, it's always nice having your teammate behind you, because you know there's not going to be anyone that's going to take desperate chances. So yeah, with that little buffer there, it certainly did help me.
Here we go again, and it is the Audis on the front row, as you mentioned, Steve. It's Engine Extreme Audis 1 and 2. Chop Sapuka actually on pole position. Alongside him will be Michael Stephen. Michael Stephen will be worried more about the man behind him, though. That is Johan Free in the Indy Oil Audi, trying to push through early on.
Well, this is a perfect scenario, as I said earlier on. It gives them the opportunity, and that's the Engine Audi Extremes at the moment that I'm talking about. An opportunity, clear air.
Oh,
Look at this, look at this.
unbelievable!
Well, Johan Free getting involved there where he shouldn't be getting involved. Got a little bit too deep in there as well.
2 BMWs and an Audi into turn 1. Doesn't normally work, and it didn't normally work. Here we go back again.
Oh, we got problems.
Free taps out Record Roots, and Melville Priest gets sent into the wall. Will he be able to stop the car just before? Yes, he is. But that is going to cost Melville Priest massive. This is going to be Chop Sapuka's opportunity to get away and possibly steal a victory. His teammate needs the championship points a little bit more than he does, but Michael Stephen is pushing right from the word go.
On the replay, let's have a look at that. Look, I mean, it's getting very, very nasty in there as well, and he gets in where he shouldn't be there at all, on the wrong line, and it's a bump, and he takes out the BMW. Oh, it's all problems. Look at that. Record Roots gets clouted. Melville Priest goes off almost into the wall, and it was amazing that the other car actually got through all of that, and of course Johan Free himself.
Yeah, Free just getting through at the last little section there, and then Henrik Grunewald diving on his inside, trying to take the evasive action that was required there. But it's Engine Extreme Audis 1 and 2. Now, we mentioned the fact in the first race that Terry Moss had to do his homework. He didn't have to worry worry too much if they knew what was going to happen in turn 2 engine corner. And that's just played right into the hands of the Engine Extreme Audis.
I wonder if Michael Stephen or either Chop Sapuka knew what was happening in terms of carnage behind them, but obviously they're focused right now. But this is the opportunity all season that they've waited for.
Yes, indeed. We're going to have formation flying out. This is Ferrari coming into the pit lane, so damage on the car is terminal. He'll have to get that sorted out. I don't think he's going to finish up the second race. Around the outside, here comes Anthony Taylor. Now remember, Taylor would have started at the back of the grid with lots of work to do. Fortunately, he was at the back when all the chaos happened the last time they came through engine corner, but he's got to get past Grunewald. And the Tim Ken Sassel Subaru is definitely something that you have to worry about. It doesn't have the pace, but he's certainly got some handling around here.
No, you're quite correct. We were speaking to Henny Grunewald earlier on, and that was one of his concerns, that the BMWs have really got the grunt. Now, he's great in the twisty bits, but on those back straights, it just does not suit that Subaru.
Let's have a look in the background whether or not Anthony Taylor can get through. Lights ablaze there from Michael Stephen. He's put the lights on just to let Chop Sapuka know that it is him and it is the teammates going 1 and 2. Here comes Taylor.
Easy.
Look at that.
Easy.
Just uses the speed of the BMW. He's definitely got the majority of the pace here compared to the Subaru, and Grunewald just had to back out of that. He had no answer whatsoever.
Yeah, those twisty bits, if you go back to some of the racing in previous rounds, and that car right now that we're looking at, that Timken Subaru, oh no, that's terminal, absolutely. Darby Olivier, another bit of bad luck.
I think what happened there is Darby Olivier actually got caught into the back end of one of the cars that was spinning out in turn 2. He thought he could continue around, but unfortunately, that is the end of the day. There goes a move, Stephen into the lead, and I think that might be just part of the team's strategy there, because remember, Michael Stephen is higher up in the championship, and Chop Sapuka knows that. As much as he wants the victory, he's prepared to play the team game, because at some stage it might work in his favor and Michael might have to return the favor.
For sure. Not only is Michael a great driver, he's also setting up and helping with those cars as well, so he's giving Chop Sapuka an opportunity to drive a really good motor car out there in Cape Town.
Yeah, you don't get much better than the setup that Terry Moss and Michael Stephen can do. I tell you, they really put in a massive amount of effort to get these cars working like they are right now. Now, we didn't see the kind of pace in the first heat. The problem they have to worry about is there's only about 4 laps to go, Steve, and the BM is starting to catch them. The superior pace of that BMW, especially here in the Mother City, is going to be a factor that they need to take into account.
Yeah, I'm looking at this as it unfolds, but I just don't think that they're going to have enough to actually catch these two at the moment. And of course, the most important thing, Stephen in front, Chop Sapuka behind.
As they come across the line and complete another lap, you can see Taylor is definitely closing on them, but has he got enough laps to actually catch them and pass them? It's the one thing to catch a car, it's another to pass it, and especially when Chop Sapuka is running the tail gunner roll now, because that roll is now reversed. Remember, in the first one, we saw Melville Priest doing the same thing for Anthony Taylor. Taylor hasn't caught these guys. They come into Cape Town corner for the final time, and Michael Stephen, superb effort there, sir. Well played, and well done, Chop Sapuka. The team game has worked for Engine Extreme Audis.
Yeah, fantastic result, and it's going to make the Cape Town fans happy as well, because they always seem to do here. Checker flags out, great win, Stephen, Chop Sapuka, Anthony Taylor, the BMW. A good race, but look in the distance, where are the rest of the field?
Now, the rest of the field decimated by that second corner incident at Engine corner. So things really opened up here in the second race, which is a bit of a pity because we were expecting a little bit more of the action. There are the results. 2 Audis up in front, Anthony Taylor in 3rd place, Grunewald the first of the Subarus, and Ritz in 5th.
Richard Pinnard in the Subaru in 6th, and at the back, Johan Ferrari disqualified for outside assistance.
All smiles and back on the podium. You must be so happy, Michael.
Yeah, most definitely. The weekend hasn't gone well so far. We've had some technical gremlins. All credit for this win, and the second go to the team. They've worked late nights to the early hours of the morning, I think 3 mornings in a row. So I'd like to thank all of them and Engine Extreme Racing for all that they've done.
While you were chasing the dollar signs in terms of points, did you have any idea of the carnage that was going on behind you?
Well, at the grid, we knew that if we could get a good opening lap, we could get out front and go. And when we came out of quarry and we looked in our mirrors, I saw no one behind me. I said, this is our opportunity and we're going to make the most of it.
Yeah, you proved this again. You've always done well here. You get your nose on front and you're actually able to take it home.
Yeah, most definitely. It's a track where we've always gone well. Luck's favoured us here as well, so we're going to take it, ride the luck, and bring home the wins.
Well, talking about big points, it's all very well one of the drivers winning a race, but when you come in second and go 1 and 2, Chops, welcome back. It's nice to actually see you on the podium again.
Oh, fantastic. It couldn't have been better for the team. We're 1 and 2. We're just grateful for the work that has been put into the cars and to be where we are. We think it was a fantastic race. We raced neatly, cleanly, and we took the cars home.
Yeah, a lot of people always seem to point fingers at drivers when they're not performing, you know, and sometimes you've actually had a lot of bad luck this season, and we all know the capabilities of you as a driver, and it just goes to show when you've got a teammate like Michael, you've got clean air, a good car, the results can be there.
No, most definitely, you know, needless to say, Michael has been working very hard on both cars and the team, you know, and the guys have worked late nights, as Michael has said, to prepare what the package we have here today, and it has not proven us otherwise. We're making the best of it.
Anthony Taylor absolutely dominant at the front end of this field, and a great drive from him for first and third. He now maintains that lead. Michael Stephen has moved up ahead of Jan Free in the battle for third and fourth.
Hi, I'm Melville Priest from Team Afrox. Please join us at our next race in East London on the 30th of October. Hope to see you there.
For all the information on the Westbank Super Series, SMS the word Motorsports to 31329 or visit our website www.westbanksuperseries.co.za and stay in the loop.
Coming up after the break, T-Class action from Killarney.
Welcome back to the Mother City into Killarney racetrack as we pick up on Class T action from the Bridgestone production cars, round number 7. All the usual contenders were out in full force and looking to do some damage, but more importantly, the entertainment factor here at Killarney was put onto another level. Supercar rides for some lucky spectators, and they all got to experience what these race drivers do in some very exotic cars.
Well, tongue-in-cheek, though.
Then we had Couscous Veyers giving us a little bit of an indication of what these guys do in Cape Town for some entertainment. And Eddie the Ruster was there in full force too.
Yeah, he was the star of the show out in Cape Town.
But before we get into the Cape Town action, we head back to Swartkops to see the highlights from round 6 at the Sassel Race Day. And a battle royal between the Volkswagens and the Fords. All 6 of them at the front end of the field. Would Gary Formato and Nathan go at it? They certainly would. They're alongside each other on the grid. As we get going, we go on board with Graham Nathan. The lights go out and we're racing into turn 1. And already pressure being put on from the outside by Kieran Kwambi, another one of the Nathan's Motorsport machines.
Whoa.
He ran wide, and man, did it look spectacular as he did that.
Yeah, he's done that a few times as well, but he managed to save it there, and he's got another Ford on his tail at the moment.
The battle then continued right at the front as Nathan moved ahead of Gennaro Bonafide. Bonafide making an uncustomary mistake at the top of the hill. Then Formato tried to go around the outside, but all of a sudden, there was a new man at the front, and it looked like Van Rooyen was going to be untouchable in the first heat. Nathan tried, he wasn't able to catch him, and Michael Van Rooyen took the first victory. Nathan in second, Kwambi in third, Formato just ahead of his teammate Sean Duminy.
So the inverted grid and race 2 on its way in Class T from Smarts Cup. Here come the highlights. Gennaro Bonafide had something to prove, so did Duminy.
Sean Duminy wanted to outdo all of his Ford teammates, and he went on the attack right from the word go with Gennaro Bonafide at the front end. Kwambi held third place for a while, but it was Michael Van Rooyen once again starting to put the pressure on, coming through the back of the field, because remember, he had to start from the back with the inverted grid. Gennaro Bonafide managed to hang on though, and the Ferrodo Nathan's Motorsport GTI would take the second victory of the day. Right behind him was Sean Duminy, then it was Kieran Kwambi. Michael Van Rooyen finished up in 4th place, so it was Volkswagens versus Fords, as always in the Class Ts. We're looking forward to the feature event as they went to that one. Bonafide was the victor, Sean Duminy there in second. You can see Formato and Heinz Bezet fighting for 4th and 5th.
So 2 sprint races out of the way. Now to the final theme piece. More laps and more excitement.
On board with Bonafide into turn 1, and already Duminy sneaking on his inside. He tried to hold the outside line, but Duminy saw him coming. Shut the door firmly in the background. Look out for Berza as well. Heinz Berza having a superb run here at Swartkops and managed to get that MFC Mazda a little bit more fired up, as you can see, as he takes out Bonafide at the top of the hill.
Yeah, no quarter asked and no quarter given. Oh, Kwambi trying to go down on the inside of Sean Duminy as well, and he makes that stick. What a lovely move.
Duminy making a slight mistake running wide there, and that just allowed the door to be open. But Nathan opened up the door for himself in the Goldwagen corner and took the lead from Michael Van Rooyen, who actually picked up a puncture. With only 2 laps to go, he would nurse the Ford home all the way to the end, but that would cost him valuable championship points, especially considering the fact that the theme piece is double championship points. Nathan comes across the line with his teammate right behind him, and that is a great day for Nathan's Motorsport. Into Oil GTI first, Interfile GTI second, Sean Duminy the first of the Fords. Gennaro Bonafide makes it 3 Nathan's boys up in the top 5. Celebrations on the podium means that you got points in the standings, and Nathan now leads out ahead of Gary Formato, who did not have a good day at Swartkops. Gennaro Bonafide there in third place, and a good ride from Michael van Rooyen saw him move up to fourth.
So great highlights from round number 6, but right now we're at round number 7, and it's qualifying in Cape Town. Gennaro Bonafide, Michael van Rooyen from the Fords, the Ford Gaggle wanting to do really well and consolidate Formato's lead, chasing down Nathan.
Kieran Kwambi having a great day in the saddle up in the Highveld, and down in the Mother City also looked pretty good, but unfortunately was outdone by Sean Dermody. Sean Dermody looking to fly the flag high for the Fords.
Of course, he does enjoy this Cape Town circuit as well, and so does this man.
Graham Nathan moving up in second position in qualifying. He wasn't able to outdo his arch rival. In the Nando's Ford Racing ST, it's Gary Formato who puts it on pole.
So confirmation, front row, Gary Formato, Graham Nathan.
Second row is Sean Dermody and Kieran Kwambi.
In the next row, it's the other Ford of Michael van Rooyen and then Gennaro Bonafide in the GTI.
Bringing up the fourth row of the grid was Kurt Alchin and Nizam Essa.
I've always said that having a big team like 3 cars in your squad would help you in terms of qualifying. It looks like that was the case. A bit of a pull and nice slipstreaming out there today.
Well, in fact, it was one of the goals that pulled me today. I think Kieran did a fantastic job in towing me down both straights. So I'm really thankful to Kieran Kwambi for this pole today. It's just been awesome. I mean, I'm so happy, really. I mean, the car after Swartkops, we really were at a disadvantage up in Joburg, and you know, I don't think we really are where we want to be, but the car's on pole, and I think it's great. That's what's, you know, these kind of things make a massive difference. So I'm really happy about this morning qualifying.
What do you have to find different in Cape Town as opposed to anywhere else in the country?
Well, it's quite clear. You just got to find a good tow. That's what we did this morning, and it worked perfectly. But yeah, I just enjoy the track, I think, and you know, certainly a little bit different to Swartkops. I think the car, even with, you know, the smaller restrict and so on, you can make up a bit of time here in Cape Town, and you know, it's working okay.
Are you surprised to be where you are at the moment? I mean, you're a great driver, and the cars are performing really well, but I mean, it's been a big tussle between you and Nathan the whole season.
Yeah, of course, I am a bit surprised. I really didn't expect this result. You know, in fact, last night we were talking about it and saying, well, if we have another top 4 finish, we'll be happy. So this pole's going to be great. Look, the race is going to be another story, but you know, sometimes these little results, like a pole this morning, it feels like a win. Although we only get 3 points for it, but it's just a great result. I'm very happy about it, and it's been a tough week in other areas as well. And you know, I'm really happy to have pole this morning.
So here we come from Cape Town. It's race action in T-Class, and it's always good racing, Greg.
GTIs versus Fords at the front end. As always, watch out for the little Mazda coming from behind, because they've had to do some work on that car. Formato, though, he has caught the rest of the field napping as they get across the line. You can see that Graham Nathan might have to go defensive into turn number 1 to keep Dermody at bay. He does that, and Dermody slots in right behind him. Kieran Kwambi is going to make it 4 GTI, 4 GTI, 4 GTI.
Wow, talk about a permutation. Look at the slide.
Stuff.
On board right now with Kieran Kwambi, looking behind him and under pressure from Michael van Rooyen in the Ford. Just behind him, Kurt Alchin. And of course, I can't make out the next car behind that.
That's Gennaro Bonafide. Gennaro Bonafide trying to go around the outside of Kurt Alchin. Alchin going on his customary Dr. Block maneuver and moving that little Ferrado GTI a little bit wider than what he'd like. Gennaro Bonafide now right on Michael van Rooyen's tail. Van Rooyen nearly giving a little tap there to Kurt Alchin. That might help Gennaro Bonafide out here as they come down into Dams. Has he been able to make it stick? Yes, he has. Kurt Alchin demoted down. One more position by Gennaro Bonafide's great move.
These are great camera shots. Love it when we can get inside the cockpit and see exactly what they're doing. Formato on a charge at the moment into that beautiful left-hander, right-hander into Malmesbury, and then on the way down to the straight and being chased down by Graham Nathan. Haha, he's got a rash.
Yeah, he certainly does. Look out, but there is a serious battle going to rage here because Formato goes
look at that.
Look at that. Oh, nearly a little tap. Oh, Nathan's going to try around the outside. Has he got what it takes around the outside there? Those Bridgestones are going to have to work double time. He's got a line around the outside. That's amazing stuff. Now, can he get the drag? The Ford seems to have a little bit more power out of the corner, and he's got the man down onto the main straight.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it was proper racing, proper racing. No quarter ask, no quarter giving, and it was tight and it was clean.
Absolutely perfectly done. Nathan goes on the inside, keeps Dermody at bay. Now the problem that Graham Nathan is having is he's trying to attack Gary Formato and defend Sean Dermody at the same time. He needs Kieran up there. Kieran Kwambi in the interfile, tires in Transit GTI, sitting in 4th place, a bit off the pace, with his stablemate right behind. So the other two Nathan's boys aren't helping Graham out at all at the moment. He's all on his own against the 2 Fords.
Gary Formato is sending out an SOS. Sean, where are you? I just can't handle this right now.
He knows that Sean's right behind Graham Nathan, and Sean doing everything he can. Dermody having one of the greatest drives we've seen on his little career. In this stage, he is in 3rd place with a bit of work to do. He's actually lost a bit of ground coming out. Oh, where's Kwambi going? Kwambi runs wide out of Dams. That's going to cost him a bit of driving to Malmesbury and allow Gennaro maybe to close up a bit.
Yeah, he's got a bit of work to do as well, and it looks like Kieran's on the money, found something in that car, it's really performed. But then again, Nathan Motorsport are putting these things together. Oh, look at that. Graham Nathan having a look down the outside. Will he try and drive around the outside? He's not close enough this time.
No, from what I actually saw him coming, there's a little tap. I'm right here, Gary. That's exactly the kind of racing we're going to have all the way through this first sprint race. And as you can see, all the cars running Sassel livery on them, getting Sassel fuel for this outing because they're helping out with the endurance race.
Fantastic stuff. On their way down to that first corner after the straight, it's still Formato and Graham Nathan all over him. Sean Dunamy trying to get into the action somehow, into the first corner. Dunamy looks on the inside. He says, no, can't get through there.
Yeah, well, I don't think it was going to make it too easy because Nathan slammed the door firmly in his face and said, no way are you coming through. Whoa! Formato gets a little squirrely coming out of turn 1 West Bank corner, down to the brakes into engine. And you can see that it cost him a little bit of drive there. A bit further back though, check out Dr. Block, Kurt Alchin, the body man, taking out Essa and Modak. They can't find a way past Kurt Alchin just yet. And the GTIs need to get through. They've got to take on these Fords.
Yeah, we're getting close to the final flag as well. And I'll tell you what, Formato knows Graham Nathan is charging. But I'll tell you what, he's making that Ford really wide at the moment.
On board from Kieran Kwambi as they go through Malmesbury. This is the rear-facing view coming onto the back straight away. Let's see whether or not that Ferodo GTI can close down on him. Remember, all three of these GTIs from Nathan's Motorsport, helped out by Rob Green Motorsport, and these guys have worked double time to make sure that these cars have got pace here in Cape Town. They certainly have it at the front. It's just a matter of trying to find a way past that very wide ST that Gary Formato is driving.
Yeah, I know he's taking a really different line as well, and he doesn't take the same line going through there, Greg. He's going to keep Graham Nathan guessing. So it's Ford, GTI, Ford, GTI.
It certainly is as they go into another lap, and still Graham Nathan can't find a way past Gary Formato. Formato is probably driving one of the best defensive drives you've ever seen from him to keep Nathan at bay. And I know that Graham Nathan is looking left, right and centre to get past. He's trying to be line. There you see a slightly different line there from Nathan. He goes wide, going into engine corner. He's going to cut the apex very late and try and get the drive early out of the corner. And unfortunately, whoa, look at that. Formato saw him coming. Slowed him up slightly. He's lost a little bit of that drive that he was looking for and now has to maintain second.
Yeah, boys can drive. Nice to see, though. I mean, think about this re-inverted grid at the next race, and Kurt Alchin, Modak and Essa will probably be in that mix.
The GTRs will be at the front end as opposed to where the Fords are right now. Whoa, Nathan runs a bit wide. You can see how hard Graham is pushing. He wants past Gary Formato, but Formato is not going to let him have this. He really has had a superb effort here in that Ford ST, and it is paying off and paying dividend for that team.
Yeah, it's about stamping the authority, and Graham Nathan has done that the entire season. But I'll tell you what, I'll have a look at this. He's trying to look down the inside. That's maybe possibly the inside, but Formato's got this really covered.
I think he's got massive wing mirrors on that Ford ST, because whatever Nathan does in the background, Formato covers it perfectly. There goes Kieran Kwambi and Gennaro. What's happening in the other GTI battle? Well, still Kurt Alchin out in front. The body man taking on the Azrin car. And there goes Essa. Tries to go around the outside. It's going to be a little bit of drag to the line. Now, we normally have drag racing here, and Essa's involved in that. But right now, it's GTI versus GTI at the back end. And unfortunately, right at the back of this field is a dismal performance from Michael van Rooyen. Double victor at Swartkops.
No, it's very, very disappointing, but he won't be too unhappy because the team is performing well, and of course that's their mentality at Ford.
Here we go into the last couple of corners, and it looks like Sean Dumley's going to settle for third. Fourth place is currently held by the Interfile Tyres and Transit man. That's Kieran Kwambi. This little battle's not done yet, though. Essa once passed, and Kurt Alchin is, well, he's playing an absolutely perfect role of keeping the other two GTIs behind him.
Well, just looking at the picture, we're looking at a possible front row grid there.
Certainly is. That's what will be happening at the next part of this race, because remember, 2 sprint races, 1 6-lapper, then they invert the grid and we go for another 6-lap. Whoa, Nathan on the brakes so late there. He got so squirrely. The car was out of shape. Managed to hang on to it. I don't know how. Maybe he could have hung on to that, I can tell you.
Yeah, really pushed it in there as well, but it's really impressive to see those cars come down that back straight, and I'm just blown away by the control going into that corner.
As they come across the line to complete another lap now, Graham Nathan is running out of laps here. He really has to find a way past the Ford, if he can, at all. There's not much time, though.
Do you think that waving and the arms on the thing makes them go faster?
Yeah, I think that's Jade and Dean from Nathan's Motorsport saying, come on, guys, you've got to get up there and help Graham. There's Graham looking at the inside. He then pushes wide. He's trying to make Gary make a mistake. You can see he's trying to make Gary look in the rearview mirror. As soon as he does that, he's going to bomb him.
Yeah, Formato's no mug, you know, an experienced racing driver that he is as well. But, I mean, pressure is pressure, and sometimes it can get to you, Greg.
It certainly does, and especially when it comes in the form of these two boys. Probably the class of the field in terms of the drivers, although right the way through we've got some excellent drivers, and we've seen so many different victors, especially in Class T this season. So anybody can actually take a victory here. They've got the potential, they know how to drive these cars. And down here in Cape Town, it always makes for great racing.
Yeah, these front two at the moment are starting to drop. Sean Dermody hasn't got an answer right now. You can see him getting further and further in the background. Nathan's going to have a look around the outside. He likes that low. He gets a little squirrely again. Around the outside for Marto. Cool, calm, collected. You can't drive over me, Graham, so you're going to have to go around me.
There's no way around, though. That's the only problem. Now the checkered flag should be waiting as they come across the line. Graham Nathan has settled for second, but that's a reasonable result for him. Because remember, he's only going to have 2 points taken away by Gary Formato's victory in the championship standings, so he'll be pretty happy with the result. So it's Nando's Ford Racing ST Focus out in front, India Oil's Volkswagen GTI in second place.
Yeah, Sean's going to be happy with third.
Germany takes third place ahead of Kiran Kwame in the Interval GTI. Gennaro Bonafini in the Ferraro GTI, they're in fifth.
So let's have a look at the next results. It's Kurt Alchen, Nizam Esser, Modek, Van Rooyen, and Smallberger, George that is.
Results, race 1, Class T, absolutely brilliant. You didn't need a tow this time around, you just did it all yourself.
Yeah, no, I think it's going great, and just a big thanks to the team. I think the work that they did last night has been fantastic, and it's working out for us today. So I think Graham is quicker than me in a few places, certainly, but you know, this track is hard to pass on if you cover your line, so it was okay. We'll see how it goes now in the second race, as we're going to be starting from the back, so we'll have a little bit more fun.
How important was it for Sean Duminy to be in between the two of you?
Look, honestly, I need every point that I can get from Graham, whether Sean and him take it or whoever takes it from him. So, you know, we're fighting from a long way back now, so, you know, we just keep on going and see what happens.
Focused as ever is Graham Nathan. It's about a points haul. It's about a championship in the making, Greg.
It is, and 6 more laps of action here in our coverage of the Westbank Super Series Round 7 in Cape Town. We're on board with the Interfile Volkswagen GTI of Kiran Kwame. On his outside is Gennaro Bonafini, but it's going to be Kurt Alchen in the bodyman car to take the first corner and the whole shot.
It's not going to be easy for these runners behind them because, I mean, anybody in this class can drive the seats out of their car. And at the moment, Kurt Alchen's doing exactly that with Bonafini all over him.
Well, unfortunately, Kurt Alchen has a nickname that really has stuck with him almost his entire racing career, and that is Dr. Block. And right now, he's gone very defensive, as always, and that's the kind of racing we expect from him. This is Kwambi's rear-facing view, and look at that. Already, Sean Dermody under pressure, and looking for a way on the inside as they go into damn step. That's a massive move there, and the Ford sneaks through into third place and outdoes Kwambi.
Fantastic maneuver there as well, but I think Kwambi might have the inside line going there, so it's not done and dusted on this particular little encounter.
Yeah. Oh, little tap there between
body work going all over the place.
Ford and GTI touching there. I think that was Germany and Nathan, just a little tap between the two of them as they try to slot into the train. The steam train heads down the back straight. Here comes Formato. As they come down that back straight away, you can see Kiran Kwame doing a little bit of an adjustment on the car, making sure that the car is working well. Maybe he thought there was some damage to it.
Oh, he nudged him.
Little tap there between himself and Germany as they go into Cape Town corner. Germany runs wide! Germany runs wide, all on his own after that little tap. I don't think it was the tap that caused him to run wide. It was actually himself losing control and watching the rearview mirror, and he's now dropped to the back and is in a battle between Berza and himself.
Yeah, Berza having a terrible, torrid time once again. We're becoming very accustomed to this. Put a piston rod through the block and also a turbo end, so they've actually had to fix up the two cars using different parts.
Well, to be honest, it's actually not even Heinz Berza out there, it's George Smallberger. So for the first time out, it's actually Smallberger actually racing in that MPS Mazda. This is the onboard shot of Gennaro Bonafide, trying a slightly different line as they get into engine corner. You can see the stricken car there of Melville Priest from an earlier incident in the Class A's. But it is all about the battle between GTIs at the front, and right now it's being won out by Kurt Alchin.
Yeah, this is going to do Gennaro Bonafide the world of good, but I'll tell you what, Modak, Essa, all in the mix right now, and a charging Graham Nathan is points hunting.
Yeah, Woodmead Auto, behind him comes the Indy Oil GTI, then it's Essa in the Astron car. Kwambi into Malmesbury one more time. Behind him, it's now Gary Formato. The last time it was Sean Dermody. Now Dermody's ahead of him, so there's a battle royal here between Kieran Kwambi and the two Fords. Kwambi has now stepped up to take on the battle at the front end, and he's running at the front with his teammate, Gennaro Bonafide.
Well, he's not only stepped up, Greg, he's actually getting himself on the podium with regularity, which is good for Kieran.
Check out the outside line there, cuts ahead of the Ford as they come onto the drive for the main straight. Now they bust right into this left-hander. Look at that, a good drive from Kwambi. He might be able to do Gennaro Bonafide on the brakes. Here comes the other Ford of Gary Formato. He doesn't know which car to go with. He's not quite sure which one's going to be the quicker. Good move there. He went with Kwambi, and that was definitely the quicker GTI. And in fact, nearly outbraked himself down into turn 1 West Bank corner.
Bonafide still very close to Formato at the moment. And right now, look at that. Kieran Kwambi going right around the outside, trying to get drive. He might just make this. Oh, he's going to try and get around the outside. Kurt Alchin, as you say, Dr. Block.
Cutting the apex very late there. Now let's see if he can get the drive. He wants to get past Kurt Alchin. He'll look to go on the inside here. This is where he got punted off last time. Remember the first time we came down to Cape Town, Kieran Kwambi actually ended up on the right-hand side of the track, about there, and nearly went into the steam train of cars as he got bumped out by Essa. And now he's looking for a way past Alchin.
And did you forget to mention how airborne he was?
Exactly. Some serious aerial material there from the Interfile GTI, and he's doing the same thing now, but keeping on the black stuff. He's got good drive out of Malmesbury. He is side by side with Kurt Alchin now. It's a drag race down towards Cape Town.
Yeah, this will be a stunning result for Kurt Alchin, but I think Kieran Kwambi's got him, and he's going to bring through Formato, who goes on the inside, and I think he'll make that stick. 2 places in a heartbeat. Can you believe it? Formato and Kieran Kwambi going through. There's no ways the Bodyman entry can come back from this.
Let's see whether or not he can out-drag Formato. I don't think he's going to have the power. They are side by side, though. There is nothing between the GTI and the ST Focus. Let's see who's going to get it down into turn number 1. You can see that Nathan's boys on the wall going absolutely mad as Kieran hits the front for the first time. This could be a possible first victory for him. He's had a couple of overalls for the season, but he's never taken one on the road.
I'm surprised Kurt Alchin really kept his composure on that. It was really impressive stuff, and he hasn't allowed Formato just to breeze by, but it looks like he's got better drive, and Formato could still stick this into turn number 2 in engine. He has done. He'll go, no, he hasn't.
He actually got a punt there from Gennaro Bonafide. A little tap going in there, and that just unsettled the car. Check that out. Nathan sneaks through. Bonafide just doing the perfect job there for Graham Nathan, giving Formato a small little tap into engine corner, opening up the door, and Graham Nathan said, thanks very much, Gennaro. That's exactly what I wanted you to do.
Bonafide now having a look and chasing down Formato, and Formato's going, what on earth just happened there? That all happened in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, he was looking to go up the inside of the Bodyman car, and all of a sudden he got a tap from the Ferrado car of Gennaro Bonafide, who we're on board with at the moment, and on his inside came through the Indy Oils GTI there of Graham Nathan.
Fantastic. Heading down to Cape Town corner, which is the fastest stretch. They get on the braking markers hard, and Graham Nathan has really made that move look very, very simple indeed. On the outside, gets good drive. Kurt Alchin trying to come back at him, and he does a little bit, but there's too much power there for Nathan.
He comes through and gets into second place, so it's Nathan's Motorsport cars 1 and 2. Then we've got Kurt Alchin, and still the Ford hasn't found a way past. Gary Formato must be concerned that he can't find a way past Kurt Alchin. Alchin driving the socks off this car and really giving the Formato car a good run for its money. There's a move. Bonafide keeping Dermody behind him.
Yeah, most important as well, we've got a big feature race coming up. They need to keep this clean and tidy as well, and have a look at the tyres as well. Sean Dermody is still in this race, also getting a points haul as well.
Onto the braking markers. Dermody looking on the inside, not close enough just yet on Bonafide. Bonafide runs a little bit wide. That's going to help Dermody out. He'll get better drive out of this corner. Let's see whether or not he can capitalize on that drive. Not quite. Now they go through a little kick. There's a capitalizing on some drive. Check this out. Formato trying to go around the outside into Dam's dip. He's done it. What a good bit of driving. Kurt Alchin's keeping him real though. They're going to be... Oh no, he just tapped out of that one. Alchin, you should have kept it buried, but you had him.
GTI sliding, Kieran Kwame, look at the way that they motored through this corner, sliding through that left and righter.
Yeah, we go onto the back straight now. Bonafide has realised that Kurt Elchin might be in a little bit of problems there. He's seen two cars go through in the last two laps. Now he wants to get ahead of Kurt Elchin as well and possibly spoil the day a little bit more for the body man driver.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough time. I think we're about very, very close to see that checkered flag, and it'll probably be a huge sense of relief for Kurt Elchin. He just still needs some points.
Pressure has been on Kieran Kwame to take a victory sometime this season. It looks like it's going to be happening down here in Cape Town. They've got one more lap to go as they cross the line, and it is going to be so close between these GTIs at the front. The GTIs at the back are Essa and Modak. We've still got Smallberger out there in the... What a move! What a move from Germany!
Oh, Bonafide also tries to follow him through as well. He still may just do that. Fantastic drive. Bonafide on a mission.
Germany making that door wide open, and Kurt Elchin going to lose out two positions here possibly, unless he can keep Gennaro Bonafide at bay. He can't. That is two positions in two corners, and Kurt Elchin, the man who was on pole position, has gone right from the front almost to the back of the field now, and has been outdone by the top competitors in Class T.
Greg, so much destruction in 5 corners.
That's how it goes here, unfortunately. Make one mistake, open up a door, and unfortunately you're going to have 5 cars sneaking through on you. That's how close Class T has been in 2010.
All the way down to Malmesbury again. What a great place to view this race, and the spectators come out in their droves. Really?
Look at how Bonafide's working that wheel, but he is definitely battling at the moment.
I can see it. Tyres might be going off as well. Who's that just in front of him? Looks like Formato. Sticks his head and says, "What are you doing? What's happening?"
Yeah, I think he's just a bit concerned about the fact that Germany got through on him earlier and he wanted a little bit better of a deal. He's shouting the odds out at Germany, but Bonafide is going to have to settle for behind Germany in this particular one and have to live to race another day when we get to the hour-and-a-half endurance. We'll be coming up as a standalone show on West Bank Super Series.
All right, so where are we at right now? Checkered flag will be coming out, I'm sure, very, very shortly. In fact, right now, Kwame gets the win, Nathan in second, Formato third, and here comes Sean Duminy.
Great second sprint race, and fantastic effort there from that young man. His first victory in National Championship Racing, and the Bridgestone production cars have a new victor at the top of the podium. Kieran Kwame in the Interpal GTI, Indy Oil GTI of Graham Nathan in second. The Fords there in third and fourth. Gennaro Bonafide bringing up fifth place.
And then Kurt Elchin, Niaz Modek, Nizam Essa, George Smallberger, and Van Rooyen didn't finish.
Finally, after all of these races, you get the win. It must be amazing for you at the moment, Kieran.
Yeah, it's a great feeling. I've been trying to get this the entire year. It's finally come. Thanks to Nathan's Motorsport, from Graham, Dean, Jade, RG Motorsport, Interfile. It's been great.
I mean, you're kind of fortunate that it was only 6 laps, because I want to tell you, Graham Nathan was charging.
Yeah, no, I saw that. Once I got into the lead, I saw the guys behind me. I saw Graham get into second. I just saw him coming. Just got to keep it clean and try and get to the end and first.
What's been the difference? I mean, you've had a lot of bad luck, but you've started to put that right, because you've been on the podium a couple of thirds and you're second, and now your maiden win. I mean, you're going in the right direction, clearly.
Yeah, no, definitely. The guys have put good work into the car, and it's performing nicely, so this is just what we need.
Well, results are never the same when we don't have Graham Nathan on the podium, and this time around, well, what can I say? You know, a couple of more laps, or maybe even one more lap, and it could have been big news for you in terms of points.
Absolutely. Kieran did a great job. He just put his head down, drove as hard. He didn't make any mistakes once he had got to the front. I was trying really hard, but in all credit to the man, I don't think I would have got there. There weren't enough laps. But I didn't want to let him have it too easily. Made him sweat a little bit, and great job by him. Also, just like to thank Indy Oil at the home track in Cape Town. Doing a great job. My car's going very nicely. Thank you to Nathan's Motorsport, RGM, all the guys. And well done again to Kieran. Good job.
Fantastic effort there, and the point standings heading into what is going to be the third race of the day, which we'll pick up a little bit later. Nathan Needs out, Formado's in second. Gennaro Bonafide there in third. Manufacturer-wise, it's Volkswagen with a dominant lead over BMW. Ford in third place. Audi's there in fourth. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Subaru, Nissan, Mazda, and Lotus.
Hi, I'm Michael van Rooyen from Nando's Team Ford Racing. Join us for our next event on the 30th of October in East London. Hope to see you there.
For more information, log on to the World Wide Web at westbanksuperseries.co.za.
That's a wrap of the Bridgestone production cars. Next up is the Interval Super Sport as well as the Engine Volkswagen Cup. I'm Gugu. See you next time.